guess I'm gonna do kind of a walkthrough on this guy here. It's a real Model 10 Remington. It was not a riot gun. It's nothing original whatsoever, other than being from the time period of a World War I, World War II trench gun. I cut down 6 inches off the barrel to 23 inches from the breech is what I read they were supposed to be. The upper heat shield I fabricated from a piece of leftover handrail from my house. It was generally the similar shape. I, of course, had to chisel out the inside and then, make these front and rear straps. The front's kind of riveted to this strap. It slips over, and then you have to take the actual magazine tube clamp off. And then the rear is another fabricated out of 16 gauge sheet metal, and the handguard kind of slips under there. But I guess what I'm going to do today is I'm going to stain this a little darker. I was using it was actually Gunstock is the color. Gunstock. But that's not nearly dark enough to match, turn of the century wood. And this is, it's got kind of the look of like a trench gun, because it's got chunks taken out of the wood. It's not in the best shape. It's got pitting. I've kind of steel wooled and reblued the whole thing, but I mean there's pitting. It's got pitting in the barrel clamp. And then somebody had it engraved in 1928. So at the newest, it's a 1928. At the oldest, it's a 1910. So it's somewhere in there. But yeah, the handguard turned out kind of okay. The heat shield, I guess you'd call it. And I wasn't going to beat myself up about some of the stuff. I kind of tried to add a little bit of character. Let's hope after we darken it a little more, it matches a little better. The bluing, surprisingly, turned out a little better. I used some steel that was, some old 16 gauge, so it kind of cleaned up and then blued similar to the original. I bet with some brand new steel it wouldn't have turned out like that. And then, this gun, who knows what it went through in its life, but somebody built this up with they wanted a higher cheek comb, wanted more length of pull. I don't know. But instead of getting a replacement stock, I figured that might kind of add to some of the character. It kind of looks like a trench repair. This is all split up. I've re-glued this with, nice wood glue. Cleaned all the parts really good first. I don't think that's really gonna get any worse. It's pretty well pinned together. And then to the most important part, I guess, the bayonet mount. That was a lot of work. I made that again out of scratch. It was some 1/2-inch plate, so it's got some heft to it. Just flat bar, like 1/2 inch by 1.5 inches. I hand filed this to fit that. This is just a cheap reproduction. It has the US bomb insignia like it should, but it's just a cheap Chinese reproduction bayonet. I've kind of done some weathering to it to try and make it look a little more authentic. I guess the original would have had wood, but this is the same style. It was just the later Garand bayonet. And then I welded some round stock to the square stock that fits which would be the rifle barrel on a Enfield Springfield bayonet. And then this is again more 16 gauge sheet metal. I kind of just folded over. I tried to make it as close to the original as possible. I ground a little piece in the barrel for the set screw. I should glue that to match. These, of course, are not correct because they're Allens instead of flatheads. I stripped this one out, so I'm going to have to get a better one and countersink that one a little. But it turned out okay. And it, again, the bluing turned out okay. But the longer you leave the bluing on without oiling it, they say it kind of just keeps the corrosion process going. So I guess I should finish the process by kind of, you know, working some oil into the porous metal so that it doesn't continue to, I guess, age or whatever the bluing does to it. I'm not really 100% sure, but that's from my understanding. But this is just another fun project. I've already got a Mossberg 500 with a top folder, shell holder, all that, kind of like a Spaz wannabe, poor boy Spaz. But I always thought these were neat. I picked up one for next to nothing and did this to it. So hopefully I'll get a video of us shooting it sometime soon. Maybe after Halloween we'll have some pumpkins to shoot or something. Okay, thanks for watching.